Have you ever been spooked out of your wits? Is the feeling of that familiar tingle of goosebumps on the back of your neck while narrating hair-raising stories by the campfire all too familiar? Do you enjoy playing with the Ouija board or exploring abandoned, haunted houses? And above all, do you believe in ghosts? If so, then boy, are you in for a treat, because the world is filled with stories and legends of things unknown, some of which are spooky, some of which are weird, and others teetering on the edge of imagination and reality. Indeed, urban legends have long been a part of mainstream pop culture, and from the Slenderman to the Chupacabra and the Yeti to the Bloody Mary, we've scoured out the eeriest and most pervasive ones that just won't die. Let's have a look. YouCurious? Discover more. Know more. Slenderman. It's not what you know about the Slenderman that scares you, it's what you don't. That's right, the faceless, suit-wearing, tentacle-whipping enigma is an unholy trifecta of vagueness, unknown, uncanny, and unintelligible. The only thing known about Slenderman is that he abducts children, mutilates them, and kills them. Slenderman was first brought to life in an internet forum where a user named Eric Knudsen posted photoshopped pictures claimed to have been found in the library of a small town. In these images, under a tree in the park, behind the smiling, blissfully unaware children, stands the iconic, tall, dark figure of Slenderman. Although he's faceless and devoid of expression, somehow we know that he's gazing right into the void of our souls. Although he's a demon who has spawned from the internet, Slenderman's legend has an entire history that has grown up around him in a way that would have been impossible a decade ago. In fact, in 2014, when a couple of girls stabbed their classmate and were later questioned by the police, they confessed to having done it to become servants of Slenderman. Were these girls simply bluffing, or did they have reason to believe in Slenderman? Your guess is as good as ours. Bloody Mary. Put your hands up if you've ever walked into the bathroom, turned the lights on and off, and chanted Bloody Mary thrice in front of the mirror. Well, if you have, you're quite brave, because that's how you summon her. The good news is that sometimes Bloody Mary will be nice to you. The bad news? She's a corpse, covered in blood. Bloody Mary's legend hails from an old tradition which required a young woman to walk backwards up a flight of stairs holding a candle in one hand and a mirror in the other. If they were lucky, they would see their future husband. Otherwise, they would see the Grim Reaper. Today, Bloody Mary's legend has become synonymous with spooky pop culture and is quite famous among teenagers. To summon her, one must repeatedly chant her name in front of a mirror in a dimly lit or candle-lit room. Legend has it that once Bloody Mary appears, the participants have to endure her screaming at them, strangling them, stealing their souls, and drinking their blood. If they try to run, Mary will be sure to gouge their eyes out. Yeti. Remember when Tintin encountered the Yeti on one of his adventures in Tibet? Well, the furry snowman might not be so charitable to everyone. Said to protect the mountains from human intrusion, the old Himalayan folktales depict the Yeti as a danger to those who stray too far from home, or those who get caught in the expansive frozen landscapes after dark. The legend of the Yeti is one of the oldest and most well-known in the world. In fact, when Alexander the Great arrived in India in 326 BC, one of his demands was to be shown a Yeti. In 1921, British explorer and politician Charles Howard Berry spotted massive footprints while on an expedition to Mount Everest. His Sherpa guide informed him that they must be those of the Mito Kangmi, which roughly translates as man-bear snowman. From this, the world first heard of the abominable snowman, and ever since, the Yeti has been an object of fascination, with numerous stories woven into mainstream pop culture, and also reported sightings and encounters which caused widespread mania but still remain unproven. Mothman. All accounts of the Mothman, whether true or fabricated, are very, very spooky. He was first spotted in 1966 in a town called Point Pleasant in West Virginia by a gravedigger working in a cemetery, who glanced up when something huge and brown soared above his head, and spotted a massive figure with glowing red eyes and a wingspan of 10 feet, leaping from one tree to another. Over the next few days, there were numerous other sightings in Point Pleasant. Although the papers were skeptical, the sightings continued to occur all throughout West Virginia. But what happened a year later cemented Mothman's legend in history. The collapse of a bridge in Point West led the locals to believe that the appearance of the Mothman was a bad omen of a disaster about to happen. All said and done, we can all agree on one thing. The legend of the Mothman is certainly not as flimsy as the rest. After all, truth is stranger than fiction. The Rake. A hairless, humanoid, golem-like creature with sharp teeth and long rake-like claws from which it gets its name, the Rake has been terrorizing those unfortunate enough to encounter it ever since the late 12th century. One of the earliest written accounts of an encounter with this creature was found in a mariner's log in 1691, which vaguely claimed that the Rake threatened the crew to leave and never return. Again, in 2003, the Rake was spotted by numerous people in the northeastern United States, which spurred immense media coverage and widespread mania. Sure enough, the various accounts of the Rake are so terrifying that you'll want to stop reading, but here's the thing, it's all pure fiction. In fact, the Rake's invention is very well documented and can be traced back to a message board on a site called 4chan that brought the creature into existence in 2005. So, you can finally heave a sigh of relief. The Jersey Devil. The beautiful pinelands of New Jersey are home to miles and miles of lush pine trees, sandy roads, and the Jersey Devil. With the face of a horse, the head of a dog, bat-like wings, horns, and a tail, the Jersey Devil is said to prowl through the marshes of southern New Jersey for more than 250 years. It is believed that the Jersey Devil was born to a woman who was distraught upon learning that she was expecting for the 13th time. In disgust, she cried out, "Let it be the devil!" As she would soon find out, her evil wish had been granted. Countless stories have circulated describing the devil's escapades, from raiding chicken coops and farms, destroying crops and killing animals, to wandering throughout southern New Jersey, sometimes intriguing and sometimes terrorizing the residents. At one point, as much as $100,000 was offered to anyone who would capture the devil, dead or alive. To this day, the belief in the Jersey Devil is as real as it gets, with concrete records and reliable people who've witnessed its activities. Al-Duway. Remember the Genie from Disney's Aladdin? Well, actually, they're not so jolly at all. On the contrary, genies are an anglicised version of jinns, which are supernatural creatures in Arabic folklore, and can be good, bad, or downright terrifying. And so, we come to the most famous urban legend that the UAE has to offer, a famous jinn called Al-Duway. Legend has it that she's a beautiful lady with stunning features, dresses elegantly, and douses herself with the most exotic perfumes. But when men get too close, she reveals her true self, with looks so terrifying that they are literally to die for, and eats the men she's enchanted. Though it might just be a scary story to tell kids to warn them about stranger danger, Chupacabra. Hairless, gaunt, four-legged, and with a burnt-looking skin, the Chupacabra was first spotted in Puerto Rico in 1995, when 8 sheep were found dead and drained of blood, with 3 small puncture wounds in their chests. 5 months later, as many as 150 farm animals were found dead in the same manner. The legend spread, and more sightings followed in Latin America and the southern US, though there have been alleged sightings as far north as Maine. Indeed, it's no surprise that chupacabras are believed to be vampiric reptilian creatures that drain goats and other small animals of their blood. Even the word chupacabra itself roughly translates from Spanish as goat sucker. Sightings of the creature have been reported as recently as October and December of 2018 in Manipur, India, where many domestic animals and poultry were killed in the same manner as the chupacabra kills its victims. Krampus. The bad cop to Santa's good cop, Krampus is a horrific beast who is half goat and half demon. While the jolly old bearded fellow up north gives presents to the nice kids, Krampus aims to scare the naughty kids into behaving better by beating them with birch branches or hauling them off to hell in sacks on the night of the 5th of December every year, also known as Krampusnacht. Though he's more of a folklore figure than an urban legend, Krampus has long been a source of fascination and terror among children, and has even been the subject of numerous comic books and a movie. However, his roots have nothing to do with Christmas. Legend has it that he's the son of Hel, the Norse god of the underworld, but his terrifying reputation hasn't stopped him from becoming a beloved holiday force to the locals of Austria. La Lorona. Legend has it that long ago, a woman named Maria married a rich man with whom she had 2 children. Then their marriage hit a rough patch, and her husband made himself scarce at home. Whatever little time he did spend at home was spent only with the children. Their marriage fell apart when Maria caught her husband cheating on her with another woman. Enraged, she drowned the only thing he loved, their children. But she immediately regretted what she did and drowned herself too. When she arrived at Heaven's Gates, she was denied entry, banished back to Earth until she could find her lost children. And so, to this day, she floats around lakes in her white funeral gown, shrieking like a banshee and scouring the world for her children. Usually translated into English as the Wailing Woman, to some, La Lorona is a lost soul who's doomed to wander the earth forever. And to others, she's sort of a bogey woman, used by parents to scare children into good behaviour. What urban legends terrify you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications of our new videos. Until next time, keep watching YouCurious. Discover more, know more.